lives.
During this 2024 Chan moment, every glass of milk tells a story of care, quality, and goodness from the farm to your table. At the Kenya Dairy Board, we ensure that every drop you drink is fresh, safe, and wholesome from licensed dairy business operators you can trust. Milk is nature's pure gift, packed with calcium for strong bones, protein for growth, and vitamins to keep you healthy and active. Always look for dairy products permitted by the Kenya Dairy Board, KDB, your guarantee for safe and quality milk and dairy products. From our children to our adults, from breakfast to bedtime, the goodness of milk powers every moment. The Kenya Dairy Board, world-class dairy regulator committed to quality, safety, and national pride.
With food security still posing as a big challenge, agriculture continues to be the backbone of Kenya's economy. Tonight, we explore the interlink between media and academia in advancing food security. That and plenty more, including business and sports, shapes this live broadcast tonight. But before then, the highlights.
Not confirmed now whether they were forces of where, who they are. It's only until you do proper security analysis and investigations that you get to know, is it forces, is it civilians, and so forth.
Jubaland forces in Mandera. Government investigating claims of presence of Jubaland forces in Mandera County.
I am accused of micromanaging things. But unfortunately, sometimes when you don't do it, nobody does it.
Kenya on the right trajectory, says President Ruto as he defends his leadership style. Millions in medical claims. Social Health Authority to settle hospital claims below 10 million shillings within 2 months. And teachers delocalization query. Close to 200 primary school teachers from Nairobi protest their transfer to Kitui a few months to their retirement. Many thanks for making time for us here on KBC Prime Edition. I'm Doreen. Arange Susan Thuku is our sign language interpreter. President William Ruto has defended his leadership style, stating that the government is delivering under his guidance. Speaking at State House Nairobi, the president dismissed his critics who have accused him of micromanaging those who are below him. As Abdiaziz Hashim now reports, President Ruto has reaffirmed Kenya's commitment to strengthening international relations and building ties with friendly nations as he received credentials from 9 new envoys.
President William Ruto has broken his silence over government critics, calling him out on his leadership style since taking over the helm in 2022.
I am accused of micromanaging things. But unfortunately, sometimes when you don't do it, nobody does it. So it's better to be accused of micromanaging something and it gets done than nothing gets done.
The head of state maintained that without guidance, the administration pledges to the populace will not be achieved.
It is our collective responsibility because it speaks to the nation, the welfare of the nation, the stability of the nation, the engagement with the young people of our nation, and the profile and branding of our nation, where we all live in, where you do business, and where we all belong.
The president also reaffirmed Kenya's commitment to strengthening international relations and building ties with friendly nations.
Do accept your letters of credence and authorize you to pursue the interests of your country within Kenya's territory and to promote to the widest extent possible the mutual aspirations of our two nations within the parameters of the law.
Speaking at State House Nairobi when he formally received credentials from 9 new envoys, the head of state underscored the importance of deepening diplomatic and economic engagement between Kenya and the countries represented to better trade and investment, agriculture, technology, education, health, and climate change.
We deeply value Kenya's leadership in regional and international forums, and we are proud to stand alongside you in support of the multinational security support mission in Haiti, where our joint efforts reflect a shared dedication to restoring stability and supporting the Haitian people.
We are continuing dialogue with Finnish businesses with the aim to find trade openings and thus boost our economic collaboration. We are in active dialogue on peace mediation and more broadly, the peace and security agenda. We are also contributing to these themes through European Union's significant partnership with Kenya.
Our two nations, connected by the Indian Ocean, share a history of struggle for independence and a common aspiration for peace and prosperity.
The presentation of the credentials by the High Commissioners and Ambassador designates are from Indonesia, Spain, Finland, Slovak, Canada, Belarus, Congo, Sweden, and Israel. Abdiaziz Hashim for Prime Edition.
To some health matters now, and the government will in the next 2 months clear 5.3 billion shillings owed to hospitals by the defunct National Health Insurance Fund. Health CS Aden Duale has revealed the claims will be settled once the supplementary budget is approved. Speaking in Kakamega County, Duale said the pending bills are for facilities whose claims did not exceed the 10 million Kenyan shillings. He noted that facilities with over 10 million shillings worth of claims will have to undergo a verification process before payments are made. The CS also confirmed that St. Mary's Mission Hospital in Mumias, which was facing financial challenges, had received 98 million shillings from SHA. Meanwhile, the National Assembly Health Committee has urged Health CS Aden Duale to refrain from barring health facilities from the Social Health Authority over cases of fraud, warning that such measures deny citizens access to essential medical care.
And I can confirm that each month SHA has always disbursed its money, and the pending claims is what we have negotiated, and we have agreed that once other documentations are submitted, then we believe in the coming 1 week we may receive about 14 million.
For Kakamega County, we have a total of 293 million shillings, which are pending bills for SHA.
Anybody with a pending bill of NHIF from 1 shilling to 10 million, totaling 5.3 billion, accounting for 92% of the entire NHIF bill. As a government, on the direction of the President, we will pay in the next 2 months. We will form a team to verify. Minus verification, we are not going to pay money.
So if the minister has actually found that there are those who have actually frauded the system, it is good that he takes action on them as you already put the names to the DCI. But we'd say that they move fast, deal with those people who actually are the culprits and get hospitals to work.
The government is investigating reports from Mandera on the alleged presence of Jubilant forces within the county. Interior CS Kipchumba Murkomen says investigating agencies are probing the claims and any aliens found will be dealt with as per the law. Mandera County Governor Mohammed Adan Khalif had earlier confirmed the presence of the forces within the country's border, even as he urged the relevant authorities to take necessary action and prevent any destruction and loss of lives.
During the Busia edition of the Jukwala Usalama Operation, Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen addressed the alleged presence of Jubilant forces in Mandera County that sparked demonstrations in Mandera East constituency. Murkomen revealed that the government was investigating the claims.
We cannot confirm now whether there were forces of where, who they are. It's only until you do proper security analysis and investigations that you get to know, is it forces, is it civilians, and so forth.
This coming in the wake of a statement by Mandera County Governor Mohammed Adan Khalif confirming their presence on Kenyan soil, even as he called for urgent action.
Tunawaeleza immediate relocation of Jubilant force out of Mandera. Immediate.
Khalif and Mandera East residents have called on the government to address the matter as students resume school ahead of national examinations.
BPN primary school is now closed. And there are people who want to do exam in the next 1 month. How do you close a public school and turn it into a military training camp? It is impossible.
Juzi alisema wako ndani na wako kwa shamba yetu. Sasa watoto wako kwa mkono yetu. Shamba yetu imekauka. Wajamaa wanaishi hapa kwa shamba yetu. Tunauliza, kwani sisi watu si hapana wenyeji wa Kenya?
Sisi hatulali usiku na mchana. Tunaogopa flash these people from here, from our country. Flash them away today.
The National Assembly Defence Committee has also waded into the debate, announcing it will conduct an independent probe into the claims of the presence of Jubilant forces in Mandera. The committee chairman Nelson Koech warned the claims were causing anxiety in the country, urging the government to deal decisively with the matter. Yusufar reporting for Prime Edition.
Nominees for ambassadorial positions have called on Parliament to enhance budgetary allocation for embassies abroad to enable them market Kenya's goods and services effectively. Public Service Commission Chairperson Anthony Mushiri, nominated to represent Kenya in Ankara, Turkey, and former Cabinet Secretary Florence Bore told the National Assembly Defence and Foreign Relations Committee that their main focus, if approved, will be economic diplomacy, but will require increased financial support. 3 other nominees, as Gishuki Washira now reports, appeared before the MPs to defend the suitability to represent Kenya as ambassadors.
Former Labour Cabinet Secretary Florence Bore was the first to appear before the Nelson Koech-led committee to defend her suitability to represent Kenya as High Commissioner in Namibia. MPs questioned the former Kericho woman representative on her passion for the new assignment, given she previously served in a bigger position as a cabinet secretary.
Are you passionate about this posting? Should this committee approve you? Or do you take it, or will you take it as a demotion? And Chairman, with all respect, I'm asking this with the background knowledge and information that previously we have had a former cabinet secretary declining a diplomatic posting.
Even this one is also public service, and I've done public service for over 33 years. If I wasn't passionate, I wouldn't be here for this vetting.
The information I shall give before this departmental committee.
Public Service Commission Chairperson Anthony Mushiri, nominated to represent Kenya in Ankara, Turkey, took pride in his extensive diplomatic career, having previously served as ambassador in Libya, Geneva, and Caribbean countries.
It is an honor and a privilege for me, and I don't think it would have a problem for me to exit this particular time and continue serving the country in another position.
Ambassador Mushiri urged MPs to enhance the budget for embassies to enable them market Kenya's goods and services.
We have done so many vettings here, and many people promise the world to this committee, but when they go to the stations, the next time you'll hear about them is when you're vetting the next nominee. It is important that we serve our country.
It would be very challenging for me to sit there in Ankara and Istanbul, which is a commercial hub, and I cannot go to Istanbul because I have no resources. I would want to be spending also every week or once every 2 weeks with these business forums, trying to get Kenyan products, trying to get labor migration, Kenyans to go and work there. But I have to be in Istanbul, but we don't have resources.
Lucy Njeri Kiruto.
Ambassadorial nominee for Bangkok Thyroid, Ambassador Lucy Njeri Kiruto, also had her chance to convince members of her suitability.
I will seek to protect and safeguard the welfare of Kenyans in the region, and especially now when there are so many challenges of trafficking in this region.
Ambassador Lucy Kiruto took pride in her role in spearheading the review of Kenya's foreign policy and her diplomatic service in Washington, D.C. and Geneva. 9 nominees will be vetted by the MPs during the 2-day sitting of the Defense and Foreign Relations Committee. Gishuki Washira, Prime Edition.
And residents of Busia County have spelled out a raft of security challenges they face at the border town during the Jukwaa la Usalama security tour in the country. The residents decried, among others, cross-border robbery, trafficking of drugs and illicit brews from the neighboring country, as well as harassment of Kenyan fishermen by Ugandan security officers. Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen, speaking at the meeting, revealed Kenya and Uganda have worked on a cooperation agreement to resolve conflicts arising from fishing at the lake. Murkomen also warned against the formation of youth gangs by politicians, including the infamous 47 Brothers and Jobless Boys, saying they'll be dealt with ruthlessly.
Had a big problem with gangs in this county, and especially when we came to office in 2022, before and just after 2022, there were very notorious gangs that have been operating from here. You know their names, you know them by names, the 47 Brothers, the Jobless, Jobless Boys, and a number of these gangs who have been operating here. I'm also happy that through the operation from our security team here and a special team that was sent by the IG from Nairobi, we were able to arrest particularly the gang leaders in this area, and I'm happy that now there is a lot of order that has been restored.
Elsewhere, Interreligious Council of Kenya, IRCK, wants action on young people's demands for leaders to walk the talk and reject hypocrisy in politics, religion and community leadership. Speaking in Nairobi on Wednesday, IRCK Chairman Bishop Wilbard Lago termed integrity and accountability as key values in the fight against violent extremism and corruption in the country. The summit, supported by the United Nations Development Programme, the Korea International Cooperation Agency, the Ministry of Internal Security, and the National Counterterrorism Center, seeks to empower youth voices. It will be followed by similar forums in Kilifi, Kisumu, and Marsabit.
If we are to prevent violent extremism and foster sustainable harmony, we must not only listen to young people, but entrust them with the very structures of peace.
Violent extremism preys on vulnerabilities that directly affects the young people. Matters of unemployment, different socio-cultural factors, matters of historical injustices.
Well-coordinated national, county and community level early warning mechanisms are essential to ensure swift, consistent and effective action before violent extremism takes root in society.
We must empower our youth with the digital literacy, with the skill to build and safe online community with platform where positive peace is driven.
To some education matters now, more than 156 primary school teachers from the Nairobi County have protested the move by Kenya Teachers Service to transfer them to Kitui County just a few months to their retirement. The teachers who were recently promoted accused the TSC of ignoring government's policy on delocalization. The teachers now want the TSC to rescind the decision and at the same time revoke the transfers. Led by Nairobi NAT Branch Executive Secretary Macharia Mugwe, the teachers further claim their employer has already advertised another round of promotion, knowing well that there is no vacancy in Nairobi County.
Wengi wao ni miaka 58. Kuna wengine wamepata hizo barua za kwenda delocalization Kitui, wengine wamepata barua za retirement. Wengine wamebakisha miezi mitatu, kuna wengine wanaenda Januari. Na mkiangalia huo umri uko hapa, au wote vile mnajua miili ya binadamu, ukifikisha 50, 55, 58 na wengi wao hapa wako 58, mwili inaanza kusumbua.
Our only concern is when they promote teachers after stagnating for over 10 years, and instead of giving them promotion letters, they put a condition: you must go to Kitui. When you go to the TSC, we are having brokers there. They ask teachers money. Yes. If they want to come back to Nairobi, they have to give them money. Yes. And already we have been giving report, and nothing happens. Solidarity! Power! Solidarity! No delocalization! Solidarity!
All right, 19 minutes past the top of the hour, due for our first break. We'll circle back with more, including our conversation on the alliance between media and academia in advancing food security. Stay tuned for that and much more after this break.
Attention all journalists in Kenya. The Media Council of Kenya, MCK, is calling you to apply or renew your 2025 press card now. It's fast and easy. Just log on to your online portal at www.mediacouncil.or.ke. For more information, email us at accreditation@mediacouncil.or.ke or call 0110-131-447 or visit us at Britam Center, Nairobi, or our Mombasa, Meru, Nakuru, and Kisumu offices. You can report violations or press freedom issues by calling us on 0702 222 111. Stay legit. Carry your press card on duty. Always ready, always professional. MCK, promoting press freedom and responsible journalism.
Mombasa show, oh yeah! Mombasa show, oh yeah!
Mombasa, it's that time again. The Mombasa International Show is back. September 3rd to 7th at Jomo Kenyatta Showground, Mkomani. This year's theme, promoting climate-smart agriculture and trade initiatives for sustainable economic growth. Enjoy smart farming technology, trade exhibitions, fun for kids, and tasty food all in one place. Entry is just 350 shillings for adults, 300 for kids, with group discounts too. Book your space now. Call 0722 556 383 or visit sk.co.ke.
Welcome back. Time for our conversation right now, and we center our focus on the interlink between media and academia in advancing food security. Professor Thomas Cheriot, the Vice Chancellor for Eldoret University, is my guest. Karibu sana to the program, sir.
Thank you, Doreen, for having me.
Welcome very much.
Yes.
All right, let's just brought this discussion by a clear understanding of some of the initiatives that have been put by the government. For instance, the subsidy program, talk about the agriculture financing. And one would wonder, why is the food security still an issue, a subject of discussion for that matter?
Thank you very much, Doreen. In Kenya, the government has been trying to subsidize fertilizer. And to some measure, there's some very good results we are seeing on the ground.
Okay.
However, there are many other inputs that may not necessarily be fertilizer alone. We have also the issue of the soils. We need to test to see, for example, how much fertilizer to apply, which fertilizer to apply, at what time. Also, there is the issue of financing, because the farmers may want to go to adopt new technology, they may want to expand their farms, they may want to introduce new varieties, but they don't have the money. And therefore, it's a challenge, because we need to connect between the farmer and also the financial institutions that can support them. Yes.
So there's some level of interconnectedness.
Disconnect, yes.
Okay. All this need interconnectedness, but there's some level of disconnect.
Yes.
All right, so then having said that, where do you see the future of food security with some of these changing weather patterns, for instance?
Sure. The issue of climate change has really introduced a new dimension to agriculture, and therefore we need to look at climate-smart technologies and methods to be able to intervene between the climate and the agriculture that the farmers are engaged in, because we need resilient varieties, we need resilient breeds of animals, we need techniques that will be able to mitigate this, because you cannot do the same thing over and over again with this new climate change that is coming very, very seriously.
So what I hear you say is that we need to adapt new methods with these new challenges. Now that's where you come in as University of Eldoret. With all these glaring gaps and challenges still in existence, what are these institutions of higher learning, for instance, US, doing to address such kind of issues?
Universities in Kenya, and University of Eldoret particularly, we've been doing a lot of research on how we can be able to boost production despite this climate change. So therefore, we have climate-smart technologies that we have come up with. We have resilient breeds and resilient varieties. But the problem is communication between our research output and the people who need these technologies. And therefore, that's where the media comes in terms of dissemination, in terms of putting this content, scientific content, into ways in which the farmers, the stakeholders, are able to understand and they are able to utilize, because otherwise they are very scientific most of the time.
So as a university, more of what you're doing is just research with regards to this?
Yeah, we are doing research. We have been having agribusiness trade fair now for 18 years, and therefore we are not only doing the research, we are trying also to disseminate this research. And therefore we need more stakeholders like the media to be able to assist us, because this trade fair is a physical event, but we need this technology to be translated all the time throughout the year to people who are even far from Eldoret.
So then is it safe to say that progress is being made to some extent, but there's a bit of disconnect when it comes to communication? That's the underlying issue.
Communication, yes.
That's really the underlying issue.
The issue, yes.
So then from where you sit, Professor, talk to me about how then you feel that so far we've been telling these stories, for instance, the stories of agriculture, talk about the policies they are in, issues of innovations, for instance, in as far as agricultural matters is concerned. How have we been doing it so far from where you sit?
As I said earlier, there are many research that is being done in the universities. And when we met recently as universities under the leadership of the PS research, we realized there are so many things we are doing. But it's like the country is not aware. They're like universities, there's nothing is going on. But
so we're not telling that story as it's supposed to be also.
Yes.
Why?
So, yeah. Because we have been traditional. You publish, then you expect that people will read your journal, article somewhere, but farmers need real solutions. And this research should be translated to some solutions that farmers can be able to adopt immediately, instead of trying to imagine how this research output is going to be implemented. So we need to tell it in form of stories, we need to tell it in form of, digestible methods or means of which media, like KBC, can be able to assist us because of the reach and because of the way in which, if we tell it in form of stories, in form of success, in form of resilience, but most often we see the media might be depicting farming as like the last resort when everything has failed.
Is that so?
Not all but we are saying, like I saw some few years ago.
Yes.
They were showing one count where a lot of animals were dying. But nobody is telling us now what is happening on the ground at this moment. Maybe they are doing very well. So there should be a way in which young people can mitigate, or even farmers generally can mitigate against some of this climate change. And therefore, we need to work together, the scientific community and the media.
So is it more like, as we tell the downsides or the challenges, for instance, let's also look at the other side of the coin, the success stories of this.
Yes.
So then talk to me about the kind of risk that this has posed, whether it is underreporting or misreporting, just the way you're saying. What kind of risks has this posed in the sector altogether?
By focusing on, the negative stories, people are young people, particularly young people, are discouraged from, engaging in agricultural activities as a business or as a way of living, because people start fearing that this is a very risk venture, and yet this is one of the most important activity in the country that is supporting 60% of our population. And is actually accounting for 57% of our GDP. So therefore, and the risk is that the farmers now, an average age of the farmer is about 60 to 65 years. And therefore, it means in future, if we don't build this, the agriculture as a very, very, very important sector, then we'll risk losing it in the long run. So, and it is just about telling the resilient stories and stories that are successful, because there are very many stories. And also maybe moving away from the traditional agricultural activities or focus and look at how we can digitize agriculture so that it is very attractive to the rest of the population, especially the youth. Yes. Elucidate
on that a little bit. Let me stay on that point. How we can digitize agriculture, make it more appealing to the youth folk, because then they will look at this as sort of like quote unquote unattractive. How can this be done? How are you doing it?
We are introducing AI. Okay. Like there are so many other activities. People think agriculture is about tilling or production. There is a whole spectrum of the value chain, and therefore young people can play a role in terms of creating apps for marketing. Perhaps also I saw some young people in Uasin Gishu using very, very, very sophisticated methods of also even spraying using robots like drones and so on. And it actually makes them know that they can do this without necessarily going to the farm. Because people think farming is just the tilling, but there's a whole spectrum, value chain, from production, transportation, processing, marketing, consumption, and even managing the waste that is coming out of it.
So do you think that staying stuck into that mindset and idea that farming is, or agriculture is just tilling, is what has really made us not grow in the aspect in which you are explaining?
Yes, because tilling is just a small percentage. And what has really made our agriculture not to really move and grow like the rest of the world is because we focus on the production part, and once you produce, you don't value add, you don't engage in processing, like how much of our tea is processed, how much of our coffee is processed, how much of our other agricultural products are processed, very few. And the University of Eldoret is trying to move from just production to doing research on how processing can be made efficient to be able to increase the value from maybe even double or even quadruple. Yes.
So then this research information that you're talking about, Professor, how can it be translated to sort of like make it profitable for farmers and also make it like the content easy for broadcast, for easy dissemination? How can this be done?
We need to have a deeper conversation between stakeholders and including all the stakeholders, including the media and the universities and the research institutes that are engaged in agricultural activities, and therefore, if we are able to come together, we'll be able to come up with a program like what we are doing now as an agribusiness trade fair. But maybe that is not enough. We may have to have more of this and more of them, because we have only once a year. We have been doing it for 18 years, but can we do it also, across the country in different fora? And we are able, everybody, each of the stakeholders that we have in agriculture can be able to do something or engage in a way in which it will support the farmer in one way or the other. Like, for example, the financing institutions, they can be able to provide solutions for that. There is also the agrochemical companies, there is also the marketing companies and all that. And the media, of course, is to help to make sure that this information is available to the farmers.
And properly disseminated. Yes. So then do you think as though these institutions of higher learning are well equipped to then train the youth folk who sort of see this as boring at times? Are they equipped, and to what extent?
Yeah, we are actually equipped as universities in Kenya. University of Eldoret, we are beginning to make sure that each student that comes to the university, we are not saying that we must tell them you must do an agricultural course, but we are equipping them with the skills that with technology they can actually apply even in agriculture and any other area, because it's not only agriculture itself, there's also related areas like engineering, technology, climate or environmental issues, soil science and all that. So it is across the spectrum. So we are saying that we must be able to talk to our to our youth, that you can be able to join any part of the value chain and be successful. And I think that is where the issue of entrepreneurship comes in.
Okay.
Because if we train our youth to be entrepreneurs, they can identify any of these value chain areas to be one of their focus points and succeed.
And I hear you talk about innovations, technology, climate-smart agriculture, agribusiness, but then we still have a crop of individuals or farmers, I should say, who sort of like stuck to the old methods, used to the kind of rain-fed agriculture, but we are slowly moving away from that. How are you incorporating this tech that you're talking about to this farmer so that you can probably like increase that agriculture produce, for instance?
We need to work together with other partners who are experts in irrigation systems. We need to show, by extension services, we need to show that you can move from producing maybe 20 bags of maize, for example, to 60, like what I saw in Kulalu. The government has done wonderfully there. When you see, it's just because of irrigation.
Yeah.
It is one of the inputs. I was saying earlier that the input is not just fertilizer. It can also be water because of the irrigation. It can be finances that are available to farmers and many other, and even post-harvest technologies, because there's also a lot of losses that occur post-harvest. Yeah.
And so then what do you think perhaps government can do as we look into transiting from rain-fed agriculture to the innovations and tech? Because universities as institutions can do so much. What can the state do?
There's need for support, especially in terms of because universities are trying to come up with all this, but without support from the government.
How does the support look like?
We need to have, I think, better engagement as to the role that we can play and how the government can be able to support in terms of funding, because we engage in a lot of research, but using our internal resources, sometimes some grants from external sources. If this can be supported, like if the research budgets can be increased, and we should also we want to also share ideas with other universities so that we are not doing things in silos. We can be able to do things together so that we can focus on this area, and other universities combined can focus in another area within the same, and we are able to co-create solutions for the country.
So then, talk to me about how this shift would perhaps look like, because granted, truth be told, we are slowly moving towards climate-smart agriculture, if not have moved altogether. So how will this shift look like, and how much perhaps would it cost? Because you're talking about support in regards to also finances. How will this look like?
I think there's a lot of funding already being spent by the government, but perhaps this is kind of in several pockets. It's not kind of aligned, because if you see various institutions are being funded to do that and that and that, and maybe if it is actually there is no synergy. If synergy can be done, then it can be easier to achieve that faster. But what is very critical, which can be done for now, is stakeholders to come together and ask ourselves, where do we want to go in 10 years' time in matters food security? Because I know we are making progress, but I think we can do much better.
Have you figured that out yourself as an institution? Where do you want to go in 10 years? Because we are here with you. We can start from this step. Have you figured that out, and how does that look like, just from where you are in Eldoret?
Yes, we've figured out that one thing, we need to have more people into agriculture, especially the youth, because that is the future. Secondly, we have also figured out that we must have more stakeholders on board, so that we work together on how to sensitize, how to build capacity, how to encourage farmers, how to pass this technology that we have all over the country. It's not only our university alone. Other institutions like Calro and others have also done very good research. But the issue is, most of these are not really disseminated correctly or at the right time, or even to the people that require that information.
So the challenge still lies in dissemination,
yes,
relaying that information. But then also, do you think as though, as a professor and a vice-chancellor, do you think as though other institutions of higher learning have this capacity to do this which you're doing, for instance?
Yes, we have.
To what extent?
Many universities that are trying to do this. But as I said, there's need for synergy. There's need for focus, so that each of us is not just doing their own things in silos. And we want to commit that. I think with the support of the government, we will be able to food security, food insecurity will be a thing of the past, because Kenya can not just feed itself, but can also feed the rest of the world.
We need a lot to get to that level. But then also, with this technology advancements, with this talk of innovations, one would wonder, are we doing enough to protect our indigenous seeds? Are we?
That one now is a huge challenge. And
where are we with that?
Of course, there's a balance that must be made between new technology, new biotech, for example. For example, people might look at GMO and say GMO is a bad thing, but there's that balance that must be made between indigenous seeds, for purposes of, safeguarding our heritage, and also ability to feed itself. Because if we focus so much on the indigenous, and then we will not be able to feed our population. And therefore, we'll be solving one problem of safeguarding our heritage in terms of cultural heritage, but we'll be failing in terms of food security.
So then how do we strike the balance? Because we have to protect this even as we look forward. How do we strike this balance? What is research showing?
I think the balance is that, first of all, we must meet our minimum requirement. That is what we need to safeguard our food security. And then this other part is for purposes of ensuring that we have something that we can show that this is our heritage, this is what we had as. But that cannot be the only focus for us. Yes.
So then what unique contributions would you like to see from where you sit in terms of how this research information is disseminated to the public, to the farmers, to the youth folk that you talk about? What is this thing, unique thing or unique way you'd like to see this being done?
Coming together with the media, we need to, first of all, the researchers must know that you cannot just publish and expect that it will be disseminated on its own, or a farmer will read a journal from, some. So we need some stories, policy briefs, whichever it is. We need some kind of digestible way of, the outputs must be able to be disseminated in form of stories, maybe in form of short videos, in which even social media can be able to be used to pass. Because Kenyans now are moving a lot to social media. They rarely even read books. And therefore, we need to make it very easy for them, using their phone to access this information. And
palatable, easy to digest.
Yes.
Finally, as we draw this discussion to a close, Professor, what will be your call to action to farmers, policymakers, students in how we can harness the power of education to advance food security? What would you say to them?
What I would like to say is that all of us, farmers, students, stakeholders, it is incumbent on all of us to come together and focus on the future of food security. And we have the solution as universities to be able to provide that particular link that is required to be able to move this forward. And we want to invite the media, and we want to thank KBC, because this is a very good forum. I know most of these forums have been, for other kind of stories, but I think this is very crucial because this is about food.
Yes.
And every day, everyone must eat something. There is no time that you go one day. Everyone in this country, even the world. Thank you.
I like that last bit, that indeed everyone at the end of the day must eat something. Not forgetting that food security is one of the president's big four in what he's doing. So clearly, just looking at that interlink between media and academia and how it goes a long way to advance this. Thank you so much, Professor, for your time.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, and it's my pleasure.
Asante sana. That has been Professor Thomas Cheriot, the Vice Chancellor, University of Eldoret, just talking to us about that interlink between media and academia in advancing food security in the country. We take another quick breather. We come back with business and sports. Don't go anywhere.
Kenya Ports Authority remains steadfast in its commitment to sustainability through implementation of its Green Port policy. We are excited to announce that our mangrove restoration program has been shortlisted among the top 3 finalists for the 2025 International Association of Ports and Harbors IAPH Sustainability Awards under the Environmental Care category. This honor reflects KPA's collective dedication to environmental stewardship and sustainable port operations. Visit www.sustainableworldports.org/IAPH 2025-sustainability-awards to vote for KPA. Your vote for KPA is a vote for Kenya and a vote for Africa. Kenya Ports Authority. Growing business, enriching lives.
Kufa alayka hadha, chunga ulimi wako, hifadhi ulimi wako. Muadh ibn Jabal radhiyallahu anhu anamuuliza Mtume, je, tutahukumiwa na kuadhibiwa kwa kila tunachokizungumza? Mtume sallallahu alaihi wasallam akamwambia, hakuna kitu ambacho kitawatumbukiza watu na kuwaingiza motoni kama vitu ambavyo wanachuma kupitia ndimi zao. Walbatna wa ma hawa. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Idha ash-shamsu kuwirat wa idha an-nujumu kadarat. Sa'u karimukum fajana faida jua itafika zamu utarudi kwa msaada.
We now look at the latest in the world of business, and diaspora remittances to Kenya are expected to come under tax pressure due to new charges by the United States. The International Fund for Agriculture Development says the tax passed by the U.S. Senate in July is expected to eat into the inflows to the continent, which reported a growth of 6% to stand at 325 billion shillings in the first half of this year. IFAD has established a 2 billion shillings facility to ease the effects of the increased remittance taxation by the United States in Kenya.
June this year, the American government enacted the new Beautiful Act, which, among other things, seek to raise diaspora remittance tax by 1%. The new rates add to the 6% payment fees paid to the remittance service providers, like banks and money transfer apps. In Kenya, diaspora remittances have become the biggest contributor to the country's forex reserves, with inflows topping 325 billion shillings in the first half of this year, a 5.8% increase from the same period last year. The International Fund for Agricultural Development says the number could be higher if remittance costs were reduced from the current high of 12%.
The average cost to send money to Kenya, $200, the equivalent of $200 is about 12%. 12%. But this average is highly skewed by the cost to send money from Tanzania to Kenya.
IFAD plans to reduce the remittance cost to at least 3% in the next 5 years through a 2 billion shillings fund that will, among other services, increase digital solutions for sending and receiving remittance money.
Addressing these facets of the operational costs by bringing the remittance down, we are then incrementally working towards financial affordability.
The Agricultural Development Agency is urging the diaspora community to tap into the fund to offset the effects of increased remittance taxation by the U.S. government.
There will be an impact in terms of cost. The cost will be increased, number one. And the second impact that we believe that might be triggered by this, it's that people will be using informal means of sending money home.
Lenders have also been encouraged to create products that will attract more investment from the Kenyan diaspora.
The best solutions in the market are those ones that are crafted by the shareholders, where we all sit in the room and we say, does it work?
Benson Rioba, reporting for Prime Edition.
Smallholder farmers have been urged to seek partnerships to lower fair trade certification costs. Fair Trade Africa Executive Director Isaac Tungola warns EU-Kenya EPA risks widening the gap between big exporters and small-scale producers in the absence of increased investment in farmer cooperatives, rural cold storage facilities, and compliance training to align with trade liberalization.
The EU-Kenya Economic Partnership came into force on July 2024, unlocking the European market for Kenya's exports duty-free. However, for thousands of smallholder farmers across the country, the promise of Europe's lucrative markets has come with unexpected hurdles.
We need to have multiple end markets where our producers can sell. So we should look at that as an opportunity and enter into long-term but very favorable agreements, taking caution that our farmers should not get into agreements that will end up also being unfair to the operations.
Kind of a free flow of trade. And so the buyer doesn't have to think twice about what is going to be my landed cost. They know what the price is. So they know what they're buying. They know that it's going to come and it's going to be a certain price. So that's when we have zero tariffs, it makes it easier to do trade.
New rules under the EU, Green Deal demand traceability, reduced pesticide use and proof that farms are deforestation-free. This is driving up the cost of operations, adversely affecting smallholder farmers. To navigate this, experts are calling for collaboration among producers.
And that together they can understand the markets, the opportunity, and what crops they can grow successfully in their region.
Stakeholders also want regional blocs to negotiate sustainable tariffs, citing high costs of phytosanitary certification and precise labeling that is disproportionately affecting small and medium producers.
Our local governments also needs to look into that our business people, our farmers or cooperatives are not getting into agreements that are lopsided and will eventually probably unfair to or unsustainable to their business initiatives.
Regina Manyara reporting for KBC Channel 1.
And the Hustler Fund has appointed Henry Tanui as its new Chief Executive Officer for a renewable 4-year term. He succeeds Elizabeth Nkuku, who has led the fund since its inception. A statement from the Hustler Fund says Tanui brings over 24 years of experience in banking and financial services, having held senior positions at Ecobank, Consolidated Bank of Kenya, and the Industrial and Commercial Development Bank. His appointment comes as the fund shifts focus from expansion to sustainability and repayment efficiency. Cooperatives and MSMEs CS Wycliffe Oparanya praised Nkuku for laying a strong foundation and welcomed the new leadership to drive the next phase of growth and impact. Kenya has been challenged to enhance the preparation of bankable projects if it is to fully benefit from the billions of dollars available for Africa's infrastructure transformation. That was the call to action at the PMI Global Summit Series Africa in Kigali, where African Development Bank, AFDB, leaders and nearly 1,000 delegates stressed that poorly prepared projects rather than lack of financing remain the single biggest obstacle to Africa's growth.
Bank estimates that the continent will need $170 billion annually in infrastructure financing by 2025. For low and middle-income countries, multilateral development banks and government-backed lenders have committed to set aside approximately $100 billion to $120 billion annually to develop projects.
Africa is the place to be. Smart investors should pay attention to Africa. African countries represent 13 out of the 20 fastest growing economies in the world.
Despite this, the financing gap remains substantial, leaving many critical projects underfunded. Kenya has been urged to unlock bankable projects to close Africa's $70 billion infrastructure gap. Delivering his keynote at the PMI Global Summit Series Africa in Kigali, outgoing president of the AFDB, Dr. Akiwemu Adesina, noted that poorly prepared projects remain the single biggest obstacle to Africa's growth, noting that without sound financial structures and risk-proof execution, many projects risk stalling or losing investors' confidence.
Projects being planned today will define Africa's trajectory for the next 50 years. The question is not whether we will build, but whether we will build with excellence, delivering transformation that lasts.
Adesina has emphasized that projects must not only exist on paper, but must tangibly improve lives, adding that projects designed for 5 years often stretch to 8 or more.
To deliver projects that change lives, not just statistics. To build local capacity that meets global standards through systematic training and certification.
Even as road construction resumes in major parts of the country, delay in key roads, housing and energy projects have real consequences for competitiveness and job creation.
That story by Raymond Jenga takes us on another break, but we come back with some sporting action. Daniel Lahome is already on standby. Stick around for that. After this breather, stay put.
Composing himself, short runner. Oh, and there's a brilliant save from Otieno.
Kenya's stars on the football pitch continues to shine brighter. The dedication, the self-belief and enthusiasm across the board is visionary.
Olunga against Jaju. And Olunga scores, perfect penalty into the bottom corner. The keeper goes the wrong way. And Kenya are right back in this now.
Join us for the FIFA World Cup 2026 African qualifiers. March Day 7, Group F, Kenya versus Gambia on Friday, 5th September 2025 at 4 p.m. from Moi International Sports Center, Kasarani. Live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1. Your true sports partner.
Please welcome to Rema Feast, Pastor Nathaniel Bassi. 4th and 5th of September, Uhuru Park, Nairobi.
A very good evening to you. My name is Daniel Lahome and welcome to Prime Edition Sport. President William Ruto has today flagged off the Kenya national athletics team that will represent the country at the World Athletics Championships in Tokyo, Japan. The team will depart for Tokyo next week ahead of the global event set for the 13th to the 21st of this month. The first batch of Kenyan athletes to this year's World Athletics Championships will leave the country for Tokyo, Japan on the 8th of this month after President Ruto flagged them off. The team, which has been in camp since mid-last month with sprinters training in Nairobi and the rest of the athletes in Eldoret, features two defending champions at Faith Kipyegon and Mary Moraa. Kenya will aim to reclaim glory in their signature 3,000-meter steeplechase for both men and women, and there will also be a team for the mixed relays after they booked their ticket during the World Relays this year. This year's Global Championships will see over 2,000 athletes from 200 countries competing in 49 medal events. Kenya finished 5th overall last time out with a total of 10 medals comprising 3 gold, 3 silver and 4 bronze during the previous World Athletics Championships held in Budapest, Hungary. And as a boost, the head of state increased the daily subsistence allowance of athletes from $60 a day to $200 and those of officials from $80 to $300.
Because she has retained her title 3 times a world champion now.
We are so much pleased to see the serious improvement happening in the sector of sports. Last time we saw the Harambee Stars doing so well, courtesy of what you promised them. And we also want to say thank you for us in athletics. We've been doing this and we will even do more because we know you will. Utacheza kama wewe.
Your Excellency, your leadership has really revamped the sports in our country. And talent development will no longer be a matter of guesswork. You have made deliberate effort, you have made a deliberate decision to ensure that talent development becomes a source of livelihood to our young men and women.
You know, these people, before they come and sit here, they've gone through hell. You know, very early mornings, very late evenings, and a lot of things in between. So my instructions are that we improve the pay, the daily, the money that we pay for upkeep of our employees. You can sit down, Waziri. From $60 to $200, and for officials, you said $80. Yeah, we can improve it to maybe $300 per day.
Premier League champions Kenya Police FC kicked off their 2025 Sekafa Kagame Cup campaign in style, cruising to a 4-0 victory over Djibouti's Guard Court in their Group A opener at the General Isi Muhyo Stadium in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. Eric Zakayo opened the scoring in the 19th minute before David Simiyu doubled the lead 15 minutes later. Baraka Badi and Edward Omondi added a goal each in the second half to seal a commanding win for the Kenyan side. Kenya Police head coach Etienne Ndairagije expressed his satisfaction with the result, praising his team's strong start to the regional tournament. In other Group A matches, a 10-man Ethiopian Coffee side battled to a goalless draw against Tanzania's Premier League outfit Singida Black Stars. Kenya Police FC will face Singida in their second group match on Friday.
Mbele Baraka Badi anatumbukiza ndani kule. Piga tiktaka ile anakwenda kwenye nyavu moja kwa moja. Nusu tiktaka unaweza kuiita hivyo. David Simiyu ameipata ndani ya boksi na yakaweka kitu ndani ya boksi. Mpira unakwenda kwenye nyavu, goli la pili kwa Polisi Kenya.
Football fans have been granted free entry into the new National Stadium as Kenya Police Bullets FC kick off their Sekafa Women's Champions League qualifying match against Uganda's Kampala Queens tomorrow from 4 p.m. Sekafa competitions manager Yusuf Mosi says all preparations for the championship are now complete, as Frederick Mwoki reports.
The fourth edition of the CAF Sekafa Women's Champions League qualifiers will involve 9 teams, who include the FKF Women Premier League champions Kenya Police Bullets FC, will be taking part in the qualifiers for the second time, hoping to bag the trophy this time around after coming short last year when they fell to CBE of Ethiopia in the final by a solitary goal.
This opportunity to thank our good cooperation between Sekafa and Football Kenya Federation. We have best venues here. You see Kenya now, they concluded successfully the CHAN, and we have good venue with the Nyayo Stadium, and we'll use also Ulinzi Complex. Means our tournament will take place in good condition.
The two-time Kenyan champions will open their campaign against Kampala Queens of Uganda in Group A, where they will also face debutants and Eritrean champions Dedan SC. Group B will feature defending champions CBE of Ethiopia, Top Girls Academy of Burundi and Rayon Sports Women of Rwanda. Group C brings together Tanzania's JKT Queens, Yei Joint Stars of South Sudan and Zanzibar's JKU Princess.
This competition is more than just the women earning a trophy in the end, but it's also going to raise the new generation of women footballers who hopefully one day be nominated as the best in the FIFA competitions.
The winner will qualify to represent the Sekafa zone at the CAF Women's Champions League 2025. Frederick Mwoki for Prime Edition.
And the Kenya Under-16 national basketball team is set to make its debut at the International Basketball Federation, that's FIBA Under-16 Afrobasket Women's Championship in Kigali, Rwanda tomorrow against Morocco. Here's the story.
The final squad, which left the country for Rwanda last night, held its first training session today in Kigali in readiness for the championship, which started yesterday. The team, which is drawn from Kenyan schools, include Angel Adhiambo, Brenda Ochieng and Grace Orilo from Olympic Junior Secondary School, Trish Ochieng and Rihanna Nyalando from Butere Girls, Pauline Achola from Uhuru Estate JSS, Consolata Odor from St. Patrick's The Val, Vivian Ratemo from World Hope, Scholastica Amuhaya from Kaya Tiwi, Shenize Ngoma from Moi Girls Nairobi, and Lilian Nyongesa from Nambale AC Junior Secondary. Kenya will face Morocco tomorrow before playing Egypt on Sunday. They will wrap their Pool C matches against debutants Cameroon next week. Meanwhile, Beyond Hoops Africa have launched a state-of-the-art Dare to Dream basketball court in Lenana Primary School, Nairobi. The facility provides a safe space where children and youth can dream big and learn to thrive in sport while transforming the community as well. Sean Muya for Prime Edition.
And Grand Stade du Marrakech is a major sports facility in the Red City of Marrakech in Morocco and is key for the upcoming 35th Africa Cup of Nations. The 2025 AFCON edition will feature 24 teams, which will be staged in 9 venues across 6 cities of Rabat, Tangier, Casablanca, Agadir, Marrakech and Fes between the 21st of December 2025 and the 18th of January 2026. Dismazo Touke is in Morocco.
Come to Grand Stade de Marrakech in the tourist city of Marrakech in the Royal Kingdom of Morocco, one of the 9 venues which will stage the 35th edition of the African Cup of Nations starting the 21st of December this year.
Among the renovations undertaken in the first phase in readiness for the African Cup of Nations include installation of 700 technical cameras for security, new wall and modification of the seats, which has been reduced to 41,245. Other conspicuous changes for the stadium include changing all lining to reduce electricity consumption by 60%. Marrakech Stadium has been assigned 8 AFCON matches, key among them being Group F cracker, pitting 5-time champions Cameroon against the defending champions Ivory Coast on the 28th of December this year.
As you know, we are close to Spain, so someone who is in Casablanca, he can watch a game, take a high-speed train, go to watch the second game in Tangier, and then take a boat, a ferry, to go to for example, Algeciras, and to have some fun in Spain and come back.
Other matches to be staged in the stadium include Ivory Coast versus Mozambique, South Africa against Angola, Angola versus Zimbabwe, Zimbabwe against South Africa, 1 round of 16 match and 1 quarter-final.
We have highways everywhere in Morocco. All the cities who are going to host the AFCON or the World Cup are connected with very, very good highways. So you can go at 120 kilometers all the way long.
The venue will thereafter be renovated by lowering its center to increase its capacity to 46,000 and construction of 3 new annexes outside to match the 2030 FIFA World Cup standards.
Reporting for KBC Channel 1 from the Royal Kingdom of Morocco in Marrakech City, Grand Stade de Marrakech Stadium, my name is Dismaso Touke.
Mabruk Dismas, and the stories are building up to AFCON 2025. That's it for tonight, and remember, we're building up to the World Cup qualifier, Kenya versus the Gambia, Friday, 4 p.m. live on KBC Channel 1. So there's a lot to talk about tomorrow and also on Friday building up to the game. Have a good evening. My name is Daniel Wahome. Back to Doreen.
That's right, and that's how we exit. Thank you so much for making time for us. We don't take that for granted. This has been KBC Prime Edition. I'm Doreen Arange. Susan Thugu has been our sign language interpreter. Good night.
Composing himself, short runner. Oh, and there's a brilliant save from Ochieno.
Kenya's stars on the football pitch continues to shine brighter. The dedication, the self-belief and enthusiasm across the board is visionary.
Malunga against Jarju. And Alunga scores, perfect penalty into the bottom corner. The keeper goes the wrong way. And Kenya are right back in this now.
Join us for the FIFA World Cup 2026 African qualifiers. Match day